Cardi B exploded onto the hip-hop scene with her song Bodak Yellow, although her path to the top was filled with fights, feuds, and long-lasting enemies in the world of rap.
Today we'll be counting down all the celebrities who tried to warn us about Cardi B. But first, make sure to tap that like button to show some love to the channel.
And with that out of the way, let's get right into today's top 10.
Starting off at number 10, we have Nicki Minaj. The most obvious person that hates Cardi is Nicki Minaj, because at this point they are the two top women in rap, with Nicki being at the top for decades, while Cardi recently exploded onto the scene with massive success. The two have not always publicly feuded, even though there have always been rumors that they didn't like each other. It seemed like they were back on good terms when they both collabed in the Migos song Motorsport. But then shortly after New York Fashion Week, we got to see the truth of the matter, when Cardi straight up came for Nicki, lunged at her and threw her shoe at her face. A person that was there told E! News, quote, "It was so fast. I heard someone screaming. Everyone recognized Cardi's voice. People either got out of the way or took out their phones and started filming." Nicki was surrounded by a bunch of guards and barely even looked at her. Next thing you know, shoes were flying and Cardi was on her way out. With a massive bump on her head, by the way, I might add. Probably the most iconic picture literally ever. But the night did not end well for Cardi, as she left with a huge bump on her head, courtesy of Nicki's security. As a response to the outburst, Cardi posted on Instagram that Nicki talked trash about her mothering and that's why she did it. Nicki aired her side of things on her Queen radio show, saying the scuffle was, quote, "so mortifying and so humiliating to go through," adding she would never talk about someone's child or parenting. Then there was another incident where Nicki allegedly leaked Cardi's number, which Cardi obviously did not take well. But a day later, Nicki seemingly called a truce on Twitter, saying she, quote, "won't be discussing this nonsense anymore," and encouraging people to talk about the positive, and Cardi agreed. So they might potentially be cool now, but after this everyone knew just how physical Cardi could get when she was mad.
In at number 9, Ra Ali. Due to Ra Ali being friends with Nicki Minaj, it's no wonder that she too has tried to warn people about Cardi B. Although even enemies by association sometimes have their own gripes with that person. Back in 2018 though, Ra and Cardi got involved in a physical altercation, the one that Mackenzie was talking about, that took place at the New York Fashion Week, with Cardi B leaving it with a visible bruising on her face. Both Ra Ali and Nicki Minaj would leave without a scratch though. A short time later, Ali called out Cardi B during an interview and said, "I don't knock nobody's come up, but don't try me. I got 1 in the chamber, 14 in the clip. This was a warning shot. I will release receipts and destroy you, Cardi. Try me. So instead of writing me essays on Instagram, find yourself a pen and paper and write your own raps." Woo! She then went on to call her mentally incapacitated.
And at number 8, Azalea Banks. After the whole New York Fashion Week scuffle, the rap world started to divide pretty firmly on two sides of the battle, either Team Nicki or Team Cardi, basically like Johnny mentioned before. And Azalea very firmly took Team Nicki. But a lot of people didn't think this was necessarily because she supported Nicki, but because she just hated Cardi so much, and already had been in feuds with her in the past. When speaking about the feud, she said about Cardi, quote, "She doesn't understand the rules of black female etiquette. She doesn't understand that black women in 2018, we fight with our words, not with our hands." Then continuing on that Cardi is, quote, "stupid and ghetto," and that she should be kicked out of the black community. Then speaking about race again, Azalea called out Cardi for only speaking about her black heritage when it's convenient for her, even calling her the, quote, "poor man's Nicki Minaj," adding in the interview, quote, "2 years ago the conversation surrounding black women's culture was really reaching an all-time high. We were really discussing our power amongst ourselves. Beyonce came out with Lemonade, and there was just really intelligent conversation going on nationally. And then everything just kind of changed, and then it was like Cardi B." So clearly Azalea is not a fan whatsoever.
In at number 7, Tomi Lahren. When President Trump decided to shut down the government in 2018 to force Congress into paying for his border wall with Mexico, many celebrities spoke out against him. Although one defender was conservative commentator Tomi Lahren, who wasn't happy with what Cardi B had to say about the matter. In a tweet, Tomi mocked Cardi B and said, "Looks like Cardi B is the latest genius political mind to endorse the Democrats. Ha, keep it up, guys." In response, Cardi said, "Leave me alone, I will dog walk you," which basically means she'll beat her up somewhere. And instead of backing off though, Tomi doubled down with her comments and said in response, "I'm sure you would, still doesn't make your political rambling any less moronic." Now, I don't like Tomi Lahren at all, but politics is her field, whereas Cardi B didn't exactly know what she was talking about, and this became evident when she started tweeting about her tax dollars going to pay for people's insurance.
And at number 6, The Shade Room. So if you guys don't know of The Shade Room, it's a popular Instagram account that shades celebrities and talks about their drama. But Cardi made it very clear that she does not like when blogs talk badly about her or her friends, when she publicly called out the owner of The Shade Room in a long ranty video. After they posted about Offset getting charged with gun possession, she ranted that they only write negative news, saying that since the owner of the blog is not allowed to post about Cardi, they instead post about all the people that she's close with, trying to bring hate their way. Adding that she doesn't need them to only post positive stuff about her, but they should cover covers some good and some bad to keep it fair. And the most shocking thing about this rant to me was that the Shade Room is not able to post about Cardi, which clearly shows that she cannot take criticism. And the fact that she needs to put these blogs on blast when they speak negatively about tons of other celebs too, just shows that she thinks everything's about her.
In at number 5, Asian doll. Music is subjective, and so obviously people will have different opinions on who their favorite artists are. However, when Cardi B released a list of her up-and-coming favorite female rappers, she really angered a few people left off that list. Cardi posted the list to Twitter in August of 2018 and said, "New female rap artists on my list, City Girls, Cupcake, Sweetie." Now, initially Cardi B was criticized for creating a list at all. A lot of people felt like co-signing new artists typically comes from those who have been in the industry for decades, but one of the main people that got really upset and tried to warn us about Cardi B was fellow female rapper Asian Doll. In response to Cardi's list, she wrote, "I don't need no co-signs, I got co-signed by 2 of the biggest artists in hip-hop, now it's time for me to just do my thing and go hard."
And at number 4, Naomi Campbell. Naomi was another person that took Nicki's side after the Fashion Week blowout, because obviously Naomi was unimpressed that Cardi made a mockery out of the fashion event. When talking about the night with Andy Cohen, Campbell said it was very disappointing to see, regardless of whatever reason Cardi had for starting the fight, saying, quote, "I was disappointed. I don't want to see women of color fight. I don't want to see women fight, period. Not there. That's it. It's all music. There's no division of music. Music's for everybody. There's no discrimination, so I felt very disappointed." Yikes. And we know that Naomi can have quite a temper herself, so for her to say that means she was really incredibly disappointed.
In at number 3, Kia. Rapper Kia, who is best known for her one-hit wonder from 2002 called My Neck, My Back, has also had her fair share of issues with Cardi B. In 2017, during a segment on her web series called The Queen's Court, she apparently had viewed a video of Cardi that made her lose all respect for the rap star. Although she didn't reference what exactly the video was, music blog Hip Hop Lately quotes her as saying, "She looks like the ring in the tub after 10 people done bathed in it. Y'all know how the ring around the tub looks when everybody in your family bathed in it and nobody decided to wash it out and they keep jumping in it. That's how she looked in that video." Apparently the comments came shortly after hackers had released a video of Cardi in the nude from her husband Offset's iCloud account. Although Kia doesn't exactly have the same star power that she once did, so I really doubt that Cardi B is losing any sleep over those comments.
And at number 2, Asia Davies. Before Cardi was a mainstream name, known as a rapper around the world, she was a reality star on Love and Hip Hop New York, where she also got a reputation for being hot-headed and violent, even throwing a shoe at Asia in the reunion episode. That was all because Cardi was getting a little too close to Asia's boyfriend, Swift, and when Cardi was on Swift's phone one day, she saw that he was getting messages from Asia, talking badly about Cardi. It's also worth noting that Cardi didn't know that he was in a relationship at that time. Before the reunion, the girls had a brief confrontation where they got into a physical fight, which obviously came to a head once again at the reunion when Cardi threw her shoe. So I guess we all could have predicted that shoe throw would happen, once again.
Last but certainly not least, coming in on our number 1 spot, Funkmaster Flex. Funkmaster Flex is an American DJ, rapper, record producer, and host of New York City's Hot 97 radio. And if there's one thing he's famous for though, it's his hatred for rappers who don't write their own lyrics. He even infamously threw shade at Cardi B's lyrical credibility on Instagram Live in April of 2018. In the IG Live, Funk Flex explains that Cardi's Bodak Yellow was written by a ghostwriter. He goes on to say, "For you Cardi fans, I don't care what her opinion is about anything when you don't write your own shit. I don't care, I don't. Cardi's consistently getting somebody else to write her shit." He then went on to say, "I can't stand rappers who don't write they shit. What did we learn today, boys and girls? Write your own shit. And when your shit gets funny, don't go on the gram and turn your comments off, and don't fire your management as soon as you get to the right place." That was a lot of beeping and I'm sorry. Although to be fair, I don't believe that it has been proven that Cardi B has ghostwriters, but at the same time, I also wouldn't say that it's impossible.
Starting off at number 7, we have a New York City hostess. Back when exposing rude celebrities was trending online, TikTok user Julia Carolan took the opportunity to share her experiences with celebrities that she met when she was a host at a fancy New York City restaurant. One of those rude celebrities was none other than Hailey Baldwin. When talking about her, she said, quote, "This is gonna be controversial. I've met her a handful of times, and every time she was not nice. I really want to like her, but I have to give her like a 3.5 out of 10. Sorry." And even though Hailey was not the only rude celebrity mentioned, Hailey decided to apologize to the user by writing in the comments of that video, quote, "Just came across this video and wanted to say I'm so sorry if I've ever given you bad vibes or a bad attitude. That's not ever my intention. Hate hearing that was your experience with me, but glad you called me out so I can do better. Hopefully we meet again so I can apologize in person. And then Caroline responded thanking her for being accountable and taking the time to apologize. And for this one, she might have exposed that Hailey is maybe a little two-faced, maybe a little rude, but because Hailey apologized, I think we can all safely say that, she's learned and grown and changed, and I think we can accept that apology. And at number 6, paparazzi. One group of people that absolutely hates Alec Baldwin is the paparazzi, as he has assaulted numerous paparazzi on a few occasions. The first and most famous went down in October of 1995 when a photographer was waiting outside of his home to get a glimpse of their newborn daughter. Baldwin started by spraying shaving cream on the paparazzi's windows, then a scuffle started, and Baldwin punched him right in the nose, while Alec denies this and says that he just slapped the camera out of his hand. Baldwin was later acquitted of misdemeanor battery charges in the case and won an invasion of privacy suit against Zanger, though Zanger won a civil case against Baldwin for damages that cost the actor $4,500. The next run-in was in June of 2012, and the paparazzi said about Baldwin, quote, "He comes after me, starts shoving and punching me, one time right in the chin." But Baldwin denied this and said that he was accosted by the paparazzi. Alec later said in a tweet the paparazzi should be, quote, "waterboarded." Yikes. So clearly, a lot of tension between those two groups. And at number 5, Dr. Daniel Barrett. A plastic surgeon who has gone viral from his videos talking about celebrity plastic surgeries got in some major hot water after he made a video about Hailey Bieber. In the viral TikTok, he compared pictures of Hailey then versus now, and pointed out what he thought was different about her face, saying, quote, "Pay special attention to the nose. What do you think?" Well, I'll tell you what I think. I think it's physically impossible without getting a little bit of help from someone like myself to go from this picture to that picture. Adding that he thinks she had a rhinoplasty as well as jawline contouring, skin tightening, lip filler, and a chin implant. And apparently the Biebers are so threatened by this man's opinion that both Justin and Hailey threatened to sue him for the video. The couple accused the doctor of using Hailey's likeness, making claims about her, and using, quote, copyright protected lyrics from Justin's song Sorry in the caption. And the fact that he's trying to sue for a caption, that's a lot, Justin. Come on. The couples reportedly sent him a cease and desist letter regarding his video, but because he did nothing wrong, it's not been taken down. Hailey somewhat responded to this on Instagram, where she claimed a lot of after photos are edited by the makeup artist, and she doesn't actually look like that. Either way, suing him is ridiculous. And at number 4, Harvey Levin. Even though I'm sure Harvey Levin doesn't have a vendetta against Alec Baldwin or the family in general, he owns gossip site TMZ, who's known for breaking tons of terrible stories about Alec. It was TMZ that exposed him for using the F-word slur, and it started the hate train against the star, even though the allegation turned out to be false. TMZ also leaked the voice memo that Alec left to his daughter Ireland, where he called her tons of horrible names, including a thoughtless little pig, which not only hurt Alec's reputation, but made his daughter Ireland even more hurt and embarrassed than she was before. And at number 3, Alec Baldwin himself. With the amount of insane scandals that Alec Baldwin has been in, I think it's safe to say that he gave us all the warning that we really needed. One incident was when he punched a random guy in the face after they got into a heated fight over a parking spot. Baldwin said that he had a family member holding the spot for him, but then the guy pulled into it. Baldwin and the man started arguing, and then Baldwin decided to sucker punch him right in the face. The next incident was when he was removed off a flight in 2011 because he refused to stop playing a game called Words with Friends on his phone, with Baldwin tweeting out after, quote, "Flight attendant on American reamed me out for playing Words with Friends while we sat at the gate not moving. Hashtag no wonder American Air is bankrupt." Then in another incident, he reamed out the police because they were going to ticket him for riding his bike the wrong way down the street. But he was so difficult they ended up arresting him, causing him to rant that, quote, "New York officials are simply, quote, desperate for revenue and anxious to criminalize behavior once thought benign." And at number 2, Ireland Baldwin. So this is one you should see coming. But Alec has such a bad temper that his own daughter felt his wrath on a long voicemail message he angrily left when she didn't pick up the phone. Back in 2007, the voice message was leaked online, and people got to hear the awful things Alec said to his 11-year-old daughter at the time, with him saying in the call that she was, quote, "a rude, thoughtless little pig." That needed to be, quote, straightened out, and she humiliated him for the last time, with things being extra heated because him and his wife Kim Basinger were in a heated custody battle at the time. At the time, he apologized in a statement saying, quote, "I'm sorry as everyone who knows me is aware for losing my temper with my child. I have been driven to the edge by parental alienation for many years now. You have to go through this to understand, although I hope you never do. I'm sorry for what happened." Thankfully, Ireland can now joke about it, with her saying that it was turned into a bigger deal than it actually was, but I'm sure that definitely hurt a little bit to receive that. In at number 1, Shia LaBeouf. Shia LaBeouf got into such a bad feud with Alec Baldwin that he allegedly quit a play right before it was scheduled to premiere. The play was called Orphans, and at the time Shia said he quit due to, quote, creative differences, but later it was revealed that his co-star Alec Baldwin might have been the real reason. He took to Twitter and showed an email that was seemingly sent to Alec, where Shia said that men should behave a certain way, adding, quote, Alec, I'm sorry for my part of a disagreeable situation. Then there was a screenshot of another email from the play's director where he says he should have listened to Shia earlier. But then Shia posted an email exchange between him and Baldwin where Baldwin said, quote, I don't have an unkind word to say about you, which is definitely something you say to someone that you don't like very much in my experience. Alright guys, that's all for the video today. Let me know your thoughts on it below. Did you know all of this about the Baldwin family? And if you didn't, what do you think of them now? Starting off at number 10, we have Kylie Minogue. Kylie Minogue and Kylie Jenner got in a huge legal battle over their names a few years ago. Basically, Jenner was trying to trademark the name Kylie, but she's obviously not the only person in the world with that name. According to the US Patent and Trademark Office, in 2015, Jenner tried to register Kylie in the US for advertising services and endorsement services. Minogue then had her team file for the registration to not go ahead as it would damage her own reputation. And in the legal documents, Minogue did not hold back, describing Jenner as a, quote, secondary reality television personality, known for her, quote, photographic exhibitionism and controversial posts on social media. Minogue then tweeted out, quote, hello, my name is Kylie, hashtag light years, insinuating that she's light years ahead of the reality star. And even though at the time Jenner deserved to lose the trademark, I wonder what would happen today now that the name Kylie is affiliated with Kylie Jenner a vast majority of the time. Let me know below. In at number 9, Forbes. News outlet Forbes was a huge part in getting Kylie Jenner the respect that her and her family wanted so badly. When they announced that she was the world's youngest billionaire, people changed their minds about the business Kylie was doing. But Forbes later publicly retracted those statements, saying that they were caught up in Kylie's web of lies, and she actually wasn't a billionaire after all. The bombshell came from documents that were made public when Cardi purchased 51% of Kylie Cosmetics. That deal valued Kylie Cosmetics at nearly $1.2 billion and backed up the billionaire claims. But later, those documents showed that the company generated $125 million in sales for 2018. For example, despite the Jenner family leading Forbes to believe that it had generated $360 million. As a response, Kylie tweeted, quote, I've never asked for any title or tried to lie my way there ever, period. Kylie then tried to change the subject by tweeting that there's more important things to be worrying about, and even though that's true, it was crazy to learn that her billionaire status was a Kardashian PR statement. Although she's still worth about $900 million, so I mean, still worth quite a lot. In at number 8, Paris Jackson. Paris Jackson is of course the daughter of the late Michael Jackson, and because of this she has a deep love and respect for music. So when she saw that Kendall and Kylie Jenner were selling t-shirts with various musical icons on them, she wasn't happy. The shirts featured musical legends like Notorious B.I.G., Tupac Shakur, The Doors, and Ozzy Osbourne. When talking about the scandal, she said, quote, as a huge fan of Zeppelin, The Doors, Floyd, I mean these bands literally helped shape who I am today. I can't condone this fashion. Going on to explain that these legends should be respected and honored. And this was just one case of the girls using things that aren't theirs to make some money. And at number 7, Amanda Steinberg. As we know, Kylie and her family are famous for cultural appropriation and stealing looks from black culture, then getting praised for it. Actress Amanda Steinberg was a celebrity who decided to stand up to Kylie after Kylie posted a picture wearing cornrows. Steinberg commented on Kylie's photo, quote, when you appropriate black features and culture but fail to use your position of power to help black Americans by directing attention towards your wigs instead of police brutality or racism. Hashtag white girls do it better. Kylie clapped back saying, quote, mad if I don't, mad if I do, go hang with Jaden or something, referring to their mutual friend Jaden Smith. But honestly, that was the weakest comeback I've literally ever seen. And at number 6, Danielle Bregoli / Bad Baby. Danielle Bregoli is known for being shady and taking aim at celebrities, so it was no surprise when she shaded Kylie in one of her music videos. The song was called These Hoes, and in the video there was a part where a girl that looked eerily similar to Kylie was getting lip and butt injections. And the whole point of the song is that she isn't like other LA girls, insinuating that Bregoli is not fake like Kylie is. And a little fun fact, so many people thought that the Kylie impersonator in the video was Tana Mojo, that Tana literally had to come out saying that it wasn't her. I guess this video was both shady to Kylie and Tana then. Halfway number 5, Keke Palmer. Keke Palmer slammed Kylie in a 2017 interview where she was talking about the importance of self-confidence and beauty on social media. In the interview, Keke said, quote, specifically the situation with Kylie, where you've had a young girl people have seen on television since she was a kid, and they literally told her she was so ugly, the ugly person in the family. She went and did apparently everything the world deems as beautiful. The even crazier part is that everyone loves her for it. Kylie never addressed the comments, but years later, Kiki spoke about them again with Andy Cohen, but they're clarifying that her statements were not meant to be a dig at Kylie, but she was just one example, with Kiki adding that all she wanted was for people to embrace their own bodies, not change just because people are telling them to. And at number 4, Amber Rose. Amber Rose was very outspoken when Kylie and Tyga started dating, because honestly, I think a lot of people were a little suspicious of their age gap, with Amber making comments that the relationship was wrong because of Kylie's young age, with Amber telling The Breakfast Club, quote, "She's a baby. She needs to go to bed at 7 o'clock and relax," adding, "That's ridiculous. Tyga should be ashamed of himself. For sure, he's a beautiful woman and a baby," and left that for a 16-year-old who just turned 17. And at first the comments seemed to take aim at Tyga because he was the adult in the situation, but then the comments turned nasty towards Kylie when she said that he just left a beautiful woman and a child for a teenager. But I'm sorry, Amber's not wrong. That relationship was nasty. And at number 3, Ellen DeGeneres. Even though we can't trust anything Ellen says anymore, there was one point in time where Ellen was very annoyed with Kylie Jenner, and it proved how much of a diva that she can be. Ellen and the Kardashians are very close, with the Kardashians giving tons of exclusive interviews to Ellen. But Ellen might not be that fond of Kylie. In late 2015, Kylie was scheduled to appear on the show, and apparently had 5 meltdowns before doing so. She also refused to use Ellen's glam team, and brought her own instead, which meant Kylie needed extra dressing rooms. A source told Radar Online, quote, "Kylie also insisted that she have 2 VIP parking spots because she didn't want to walk from the parking structure to the studio, which is less than a block away. She also arrived late to film the show, and all that combined definitely shows some huge diva energy." And at number 2, Miley Cyrus. As we know, Miley Cyrus does not hold back when dishing out some good old shade. So a few years back, Miley posted a photo to her Instagram with her cleavage and signature pout. What's new, right? But then Miley decided to throw some shade by posting a photo of her pouting and pushing up her own cleavage with the caption, quote, "Do you think if I push my boobs up I'll get more followers?" Then to make it clear she was probably making fun of Kylie, she posted, quote, "Dear women, you all are tacky AF. Why don't we overly, myself included, fortunate women come together and try to create and bring jobs to other women in desperate need of them so they can support not only themselves but their families." And although she never called out Kylie by name, you didn't have to look too hard to see who she was calling out. And at number 1, Kanye West. This one might be the worst because Kylie actually turned her back on her own family in order to get some money. So Kanye owns Yeezy shoes, which has turned into a well-recognized shoe brand. But before that happened, Puma actually snagged Kylie to be in their new campaign, which happened to be Kanye's biggest competitor at the time. In an episode of Keeping Up with the Kardashians, Kim said, quote, "Kanye had Kylie walk in his first 2 Adidas shows. He really believed in her as part of his brand. I feel like this was a conflict of interest." Kylie ended up getting a 7-figure deal with Puma, but lost the respect of Kanye along the way. Before the deal was finished, Kanye tweeted, quote, "1,000% there will never be a Kylie Puma anything. That's on my family. 1,000% Kylie is on Yeezy team." Then adding in another tweet, quote, "Puma, we're gonna give your measly $1 million back. Never try to divide the family." But now I'm sure he's learned his lesson to never trust Kylie because even after all of that, she took the Puma deal. So based on this list, it's safe to say that Kylie is very shady, even going against family for a check. What do you guys think about all this? Which situation do you think was the worst? And who do you think hates Kylie the most? There's too many people with valid reasons on this list for me to pick just one, honestly.
Starting us off at number 10 is Shia. The two of them have always had a positive relationship from what we've seen in the media. They have been friends for a while, and Shia has even been in some of her music videos. But recently, some truth has come to surface which paints the relationship in a very different light. Shia recently revealed that she replaced Shia in her upcoming movie and called him a pathological liar. Turns out she originally cast him for the role, but then replaced him with Kate Hudson. So, what happened between them that made her decide to do this? Shia tweeted an explanation and said, "I've been hurt emotionally by Shia, a pathological liar who conned me into an adulterous relationship claiming to be single." This was very shocking information because many fans didn't even know that there was something more than friendship between them. No further details were given out, and he is yet to comment on these claims, but she is revealing some pretty serious stuff about his character. Up next, number 9 is Tom Hardy. In 2012, reports were taken over the internet between the tension between cast members Tom Hardy and Shia LaBeouf. Tension would be an understatement though. A full-out brawl would be a better word to describe what happened. The two of them got into a physical altercation to a point where they both had to be restrained. When the news first broke, Cardi spoke about it during interviews and said that Shia attacked him and claimed that he was drinking moonshine at the time. He even said that Shia was a very scary dude, which means a lot coming from Bane. But Shia talked about it this year and told his side of the story, saying that it was not true at all. He claims they used to wrestle each other all the time, like for fun, and said that one time he barged into his room after a gym session and picked him up and then just started wrestling. Shia claimed that he was naked in his room with his girlfriend at the time and said that they wrestled naked and that's so weird. And Hardy accidentally flew down a flight of stairs once their play fight went into the hallway. I don't know about you, but I don't know whose side of the story sounds more realistic, in all honesty. I'm just very confused. In spot number 8 is Harrison Ford. Back in 2011, Shia decided to slam one of the biggest movie directors in Hollywood and probably didn't expect Harrison to give him some heat for it. After working with Steven Spielberg on multiple movies, Shia decided to publicly criticize him and said he dropped the ball. He filmed Indiana Jones and the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull and was not happy with how the movie turned out. He spoke about it and said, I quote, "I would never disrespect the man, but when you drop the ball, you drop the ball." But Ford was also involved in the movie, and even if he didn't think it lived up to its legacy, he still said he will always stand by his films. After Shia made his comments, Ford voiced his piece and said, "I think he was an effing idiot. As an actor, I think it's my obligation to support the film without making a complete ass of myself." The idiot being Shia. This should have been some kind of warning because Shia slammed Steven again in 2016, saying he doesn't like the movies he filmed with him and said he is more of a company than a director. How do you possibly slam Steven Spielberg? Mind boggled. Sliding into number 7 is Mia Goth. It's hard to fully understand the relationship because they've always been on and off for years, but have remained married the entire time, but not actually. The web states they have been married from 2016 to present, but then the Clark County of Nevada tweeted that they have no marriage license for them and claimed that they just had a commitment ceremony performed in Las Vegas. But their relationship ended officially in 2018 after reports say she could not handle his outbursts anymore. One of them went too far back in 2015 when they had an explosive argument in Germany. They were publicly fighting and it was caught on tape. Shia was seen yelling at her, saying he doesn't want to hit her, and they eventually separated and he got into a car of bystanders, like literally went into a stranger's car. In the car, a video recording showed him saying that if he would have stayed there arguing with her, then he would have killed her. For obvious reasons, this was concerning to viewers, but reports say they might be back together, but now he's with someone else, so I'm very confused. But in March 2020, it looked like they had reconciled things, so I don't know. Making his way into number 6 is Alec Baldwin. He was just another person on Shia's feud list. The two of them had it out with each other back in 2014 when working together on the Broadway show Orphans. The feud ended with Shia dropping out of the show over what he called creative differences after Alec went to production and said he would leave if Shia didn't. Alex spoke about their experience and said Shia would show up scattered every day and attacked him in front of the company one day. He said that Shia came off with a sense of entitlement and they had tension from the start. Shia told his side of the story and admitted to putting his hand through a door at rehearsals but apologized afterwards. He even tweeted out emails between him, the director, and Alec. They ended up both apologizing to each other, but Alex said that a lot of young actors like Shia have this sense of entitlement, and it seems like he was just trying to warn us about this. Halfway through our list, number 5 is Kanye West. A lot of celebrities have been in the center of Kanye's Twitter rants, and Shia was one of them. In July 2020, he went off on Twitter and claimed Shia was supposed to do the first Yeezy Gap shoot and that he never showed up. He also tweeted, "Shia is cap," which I don't fully understand the meaning of, but I know that it's meant to be an insult in some type of way. The two of them were actually friends for a while, and Kanye even saw Shia as a fashion icon. During an interview in 2008, he said he wished he dressed as fresh as him. Shia actually claims that Kanye took his clothes and that his clothing design comes from him. In 2018, he said, he asked if he could have some of my clothes for a pop-up shop. He took all my effing clothes. It is still unclear where their friendship went wrong and what the reason was for their falling out, but Kanye has tried to warn us a few times about celebrities, and this time Shia was one of them. Here now, number 4, we have Carolyn Foe. She dated Shia for 2 years before he ended things with her for his nymphomaniac co-star Mia Goth, who I mentioned earlier. This would be a tough breakup for anyone, and paparazzi photos showed how difficult it was for Carolyn. They were having issues in the relationship, and fans knew about it because photos showed them having a very heated exchange, and Carolyn was in tears. Turns out their argument was about his new film at the time, Nymphomaniac, where the actors were going to engage in real sex scenes. A source had told the media, I quote, Carolyn gets that Shia likes to go method and appreciates his artistic integrity. However, she thinks performing a real sex scene in a movie is going too far. Apparently, Shia knew what the director wanted and agreed to the film, knowing that he had to do these real sex scenes. Since their breakup, stories about his rage have come to surface about what went wrong in their relationship, similar to some of his other exes. Shia even joked that he sent out their sex tapes to casting, and that's how he got the movie in the first place. True or not, I can't confirm, but that is still pretty messed up. Like, that is not a funny joke by any means. In our third spot is Frederick Bond. Remember that time that Shia choked his director while he was filming on acid? Yeah, well, Frederick was the director that he choked. They were working on the 2013 movie Charlie Countryman, and Shia was struggling with his drug addiction during that time. He notoriously took LSD during the filming process, and he blamed the drugs for his attack on the director. Shia tells the story like this, I quote, he wanted to break for lunch while I was tripping on drugs. I was like, we can't break for lunch, I'm on effing drugs. Right after that acid trip, I was choking Frederick. My trainer had to pull me off of him. The altercation actually almost led Frederick to abandon the project early, but he didn't, and he deserves credit. So why did he do the entire movie on drugs? Shia said he felt that he had to do drugs because he personally felt a lack of control without being on the drugs. But clearly, even when he is on drugs, he cannot control himself. This incident should have been a warning to everyone about his violence and anger, and more importantly, his drug addiction. Taking over our number 2 spot is Jim Carrey. I don't think anyone would expect these two to get into a celebrity feud. It just seems very random to me. It happened back in 2014 when Jim was presenting the award for Best Motion Picture at the Golden Globes. While he was presenting it, he decided to have a little bit of fun with the Transformer actor. He said a quote which came from actor Edmund Gwenn and said, "Dying is easy, comedy is hard." I believe it was Shia LaBeouf who said that, so young, so wise. He made the joke in reference to Shia being in trouble at that time for a copyright law. Bloggers had realized his short film had copyright in it, so Jim was making a joke about that situation. But Shia did not like this joke, and he actually began a series of angry tweets towards Jim. In response to an E! Article about Jim Carrey's jab, Shia tweeted, "At least I don't get arrested for indecency on major LA highways," or "abandoned love childs." He was referring to Jim's daughter Jane, but the two of them actually have a very close relationship. Shia later apologized for the jabs he took at Jim and also for not crediting the right people for his short film. Earning our number 1 place is FKA Twigs. The world was left in shock recently after Shia's ex-girlfriend came forward with serious allegations against the actor. He is currently being sued by Twigs for sexual battery. In her lawsuit, she revealed a bunch of disturbing stories and allegations about the actor about different stories of abuse. She said she has been haunted by the memories of their time together, claiming that he had a gun by the side of their bed, and she feared even going to the bathroom in the middle of the night. Multiple disturbing claims have come out, some too disturbing to actually say here on YouTube for the sake of our channel. Shia has responded to this lawsuit and admitted he has hurt people in the past due to his drug addiction and said that there is no excuse for his behavior. However, with that, he did also deny some of the allegations, like the one where Twigs said that that he had killed stray dogs as a part of method acting, like preparing for his next movie. The latest update at the time of this recording was that he is actively seeking a long-term inpatient treatment and that he admits he needs help. All right, guys, that's our top 10 list. To end this video, I'm gonna read some comments from Most Toxic Celebrities Part 3. Lily Gunn says, how the hell can Teen Mom be considered a family-friendly show? It's glorifying teen pregnancy for Cthulhu's sake. Not sure what that means. I totally get it. I think they were trying to make it like show the struggles of becoming a teen mom, but now all these moms are actually rich and famous, so I understand it's, I don't know. They tried. Clint Countryman says, Jared looks nothing like Travolta. Really? Because a lot of people said he looks like a young John Travolta, and I actually see it when he shaves. Carlton Ferovid says, just in case you're wondering, 92% of Hollywood is nothing more than the spawn of Satan. I like your enthusiasm on that. Mr. Sister Fister says, saying that Courtney Love is not adored is quite the understatement. Yes, a lot of people hate her. However, she has a lot of fans. So, all right, guys, that is my list. Let me know if you want to see a part 2. And also, thanks again for the support during this time of lockdown and filming from home. Make sure you guys leave a like and subscribe. But for now, I will see you in a future video.